Yes, there were plenty of missteps and rejections and problems along the way in growing our business. One of the biggest ones, I'd say, was a decision that we made early on that we were going to grow our company organically, that we were going to take any proceeds that we got and basically reinvest them into the company, and a pretty solid unilateral decision that we were not going to seek external funding, that nobody wanted to dilute our ownership in this as it was a growing entity. And while it has yielded some benefits, it also was a severe limitation for us, because the scalability of a business, the ability to grow it as the business is coming in, to have the people on your staff, to have the capabilities that you need to deliver on the promises you're making, and not being able to have the funds to support that is a song and dance that has been extremely challenging for us. So in hindsight, would I go back and do it a little differently and maybe consider some of the options around some external investment that would have helped us grow and scale the company? Yeah, I think that was one of the mistakes we might have made.
And then some of the other things that, I don't know if it's misstep or rejection, but it's certainly, Monday morning quarterback, you kind of look and go, should I have done it differently? It may have been to establish a team of mentors that could help us as we were starting on this path and growing it. We have talked to some people and they've been incredibly helpful. But probably more on our side, lack of time, we haven't done that enough. And that's probably something that when you look back, you say, I wish I did that a little differently. Although when you're in it, you don't know how you can possibly fit in another appointment or anything like that. So that's probably another area.
Yeah, not being afraid to ask for assistance
for help.
And looking for resources outside of your comfort zone. You can't know everything.
Right.
And while we knew that we didn't know everything, we also didn't necessarily look for a structured way to seek that input, which might have been helpful.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I also think that there was a tremendous amount of learning. Again, misstep, rejection, I don't know if I would fit it necessarily into that category, but making decisions about the direction of your business. We had an opportunity with our first sale. We had decided that we were going to focus on the association space, and our very first sale opened up an opportunity in another industry that we had actually identified as our second choice industry. And so rather than say, no, we're not going to do that right now, we actually did attempt to, I'll call it play, in that second industry space, and ultimately had to pull back from it because we just didn't have the bandwidth, whether it's because of organic growth, whether it was, all different kinds of variety of reasons. So I think that was a little bit of a waste of time, and that time could have been better spent doing other things. I also think that we constantly struggle with pricing. Pricing is probably the biggest challenge that we have in our business, or one of the biggest. I mean, there's a lot of challenges, but one of the challenges, because ideally what you don't want to do cost-based pricing. Let's just cover our costs. We want to do value-based pricing so that you're not leaving money on the table. So how do you actually determine what the value of what your product actually is to your buyers? And we actually just this week we had another discussion about pricing. We're thinking about changing it again.
Always in flux.
Always in flux. So I would think that there's a lot of learning that can be done around that, and maybe more research, maybe more whatever to help fine-tune the information that you need to make an educated pricing decision.
We can go on.
We could go on and on. Yeah. There's lots of lessons that get learned along the way.
I think the important thing is, though, to be able to take the missteps and the rejections. I mean, lots of rejections in the form of proposals that went out where we didn't get the business.
Sure.
But I think we do make a concerted effort to take those rejections and say, why did we lose this one? What could we do differently last time? And try to apply those lessons so that we're bettering ourselves as we march forward.
Right.
Don't take them all. Don't take any of them too hard.
Right.
Yeah.